Good Shabbos. I'm speaking to you today from outside the shul building, from our beautiful grounds. I chose this spot specifically because I wanted the beautiful ivy that adorns the brick wall that surrounds our property to be in the background. I chose this spot with this background for a reason which I'm not going to tell you, because I'd like to see if those who know me best can figure out why I chose this background in specific. I'd like to share an observation this week, a rather simple, straightforward observation, but one that I believe reveals something quite profound about Jewish life. In this week's Torah reading in Parshas Emor, we read about how the Kohanim are allowed to become tameh, ritually impure, so that they can be involved in the burial of a relative. In general, a Kohen may not intentionally render himself tameh meis, ritually impure. Our Parsha begins, L'nefesh lo yitama be'amav, that a Kohen may not become tameh from coming into contact with any corpse, except ki im lish'ero hakarov elav, except for any close relative. Now suppose that a Kohen wants to be stringent and not allow himself to become tameh meis, even for a relative. May he make that choice? Is it up to him? Chazal learn out from the language of the pasuk that he may not. The Gemara in Zvachim explains that should a Kohen want to avoid becoming tameh for a relative, he is rendered tameh against his will. And the Gemara tells a story of a certain Kohen during the time of the Mishnah, Yosef HaKohen, whose wife unfortunately passed away on the day before Pesach, and he did not want to become tameh so that he could participate in the Korban Pesach, but his fellow Kohanim rendered him tameh against his will. And the observation I would like to make based on this is that the Torah here is protecting a person's humanity. That the Torah is saying to the Kohen, and in effect to all of us, that we must never avoid the very human, emotional need to properly mourn a loved one. The Torah is protecting that space that a person needs to occupy to mourn and to cry. The Kohen is called upon to be human just like everyone else and forgo his ritually pure state, his very mission, in favor of honoring his loved ones and tending to his own emotional needs. In fact, Hashem makes space for a person's humanity in every instance in which someone is mourning the loss of a loved one. Consider for a moment the following contradiction that arises at every funeral. On the one hand, the mourner is obligated to accept Hashem's judgment, indeed to bless Hashem for his true judgment. Baruch Dayan HaEmes. And we recite the Tziduk Hadin, the prayer that expresses the justice of God's decisions. And yet on the other hand, the mourner can lament that decision and cry bitter, angry tears over that very judgment. A person is accepting God's harsh judgment in one moment and mourning that very judgment the next moment. But in fact, there is no contradiction. The Torah recognizes and carves out a space for the experience of human emotion. There are times in Jewish life in which we are confronted with two competing values. And Hashem has provided us with a halachic system, a framework, to guide us in making the difficult choices when multiple values come into conflict. This is the sort of reality we are living in right now, when the value of maintaining proper health so that we may live to continue serving Hashem and performing many more mitzvos, that value is taking precedence over more common values of praying and learning together. And those who are feeling it in a unique way are those who wish to honor their loved ones' memories by reciting Kaddish and cannot do so. The humble acceptance of the halacha of not saying a davar shebikdusha without a minyan, together with the angst and frustration of not being able to do so, is a stark demonstration of how to adhere to two competing values at the same time. And those who should be celebrating smachos with family and friends gathered around, and yet are finding ways to celebrate them alone but over the web, are sending this powerful message as well. All of us can be inspired at the lengths many have gone to try and balance, to hold together competing values during this time. And in their merit, may we soon be together. May we soon be able to be there more for each other, together with Hashem, in safety, in good health, and prosperity. Good Shabbos.